Next committee meeting is Lime Sludge removal, utilities, Ms. Woods.
So that's me. I thought Dr. Marshall was going to have somebody here.
Don't know. Mr. Vernon and I are prepared.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Was there supposed to be somebody here, Mr. Hill?
I thought we might have a speaker. He may be here for the council meeting. He's not here now.
Okay.
The resident out there.
The resident.
Yeah.
Okay.
He may be here for the meeting. He was here for the last meeting. He didn't tell me he was going to be here then. He hasn't told me he's going to be here tonight. So,
Okay.
but since he was here 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't be surprised if he's here tonight. But he's not here now.
All right. It was communicated to me we were going to have somebody here, but if you guys got it
Or he
covered.
did.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
He was hoping. I don't
Okay.
know that he was available to do that.
Okay.
You're talking about, and I think you're talking about Mr. Mark Johnson, who was with the Central District. And I can give
I
an
didn't get a
update.
name. I just.
I can give an update
Okay.
on this, and then I'll pitch to Mr. Vernon to fill in any other gaps or other information that we need to go over. So anyway, thank you, Councilwoman and Council. Update on the lime removal. We are near the end. I spoke with Kokosing last Thursday, and they seemed to think that we were probably a couple of days away from being able to wrap that extraction and relocation. And so it was more material than we thought. I don't know what the final cubic yards were, but we had a contract for it's 50,000 and then a certain amount per cubic. It was going to be credited if it was less than 50,000, and it's more if it's above. So anyway, let's see. The EPA has, I think, well, I don't know if it's 4 or if it's all of their departments, or if that's all of their departments that are involved in this now. And so when I spoke with, spoke with Brian today, he said that they were all still kind of getting together to everybody's window to this world and come together on how we are handling this. And I did speak with Mr. Johnson, who's in charge of the Central District with the Ohio EPA. Last week I spoke with him, and so he was very grateful. He said that his team appreciated the meeting that they had with Mr. Marshall, with Dr. Marshall and Mr. Ball, and so it was very productive. What we found out, I'm not sure if I sent you an update or not, but they said we should have a stormwater permit, but we were told at the time we did not need one, that Mr. Marshall does have in writing. So anyway, I think we did go ahead and fill out the stormwater permit anyway. We want to just make sure that we are doing that. And there is still debate on whether or not we need to do that, because we aren't technically disturbing the ground yet. But when we go to offload the line, when it comes in, when they come to dig it up, there probably will be some ground disturbance, and we will definitely need one then. We might as well get it done now. So anyhow, that's the deal with that. There is a very good chance that the lime actually did not leave city property. I'll let Mr. Brewer talk to that if we need to. One of the things that I've been hoping for, I've been talking with the executive director for Ariel Foundation Park, is that they would like to have about 10 truckloads of this for Ariel Foundation Park. However, the beneficial use permit does not allow for parks to have that, so we've got to go another route to be able to make that happen, and we're finding out what permit or what thing we need to do to make sure that we can use some of that lime on the Ariel Foundation Park, particularly on the ruins side. If you're familiar, the grass is really splotchy and could use a little bit of that.
Can you clarify that? So you said it can't be used at the park, but there's a way to get a permit to allow it to be used at the
Yes.
park? Okay.
We're finding out which.
The current permit we have doesn't allow us to make that application. We are working with the Ohio EPA to get the correct permit so that we can give it to the park for them to use.
Anyway, That's pretty much all I have on my end. Mr. Braun, if you want to.
Just, I have one question.
Sure.
Do we get the results back?
Oh, the most important part.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Sorry. We did get the results back. They are posted on our website, so people can see this. If you don't know what the levels mean, you don't
Back
have
from
to
what?
necessarily work. What's that?
We did sampling of a number of places on ground that
Is this
Mr.
in his
Dan-
yard?
He said it was in his yard, yeah. And then, and so we did a number of samplings, and then we sent those out. Our agronomist sampled them, and then
Who said it was in his yard?
he did,
Who's
Wait,
he?
Mr. Daniels.
All right, but didn't we not send somebody out to do
Yes,
tests?
we did.
Yes, we did.
So who's,
This is from a Rendell Shira, who has a company locally here and sent the composite samples to Brookside Labs in New Bremen, Ohio. I'm not a chemist, so I'm not going to try to interpret these, but the agronomist said there are no negative consequences to the line.
and this was done by the person we sent out?
That is correct.
Thank you.
That is correct.
But they sent the kit, the testing away. It wasn't them in Mount Vernon.
No.
Where did you say
They
you
sent it
sent
to, they sent this to Brookside Labs Incorporated in New Bremen, Ohio.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No negative consequences, what?
no negative consequences. That is directly from Mr. Rendell Shire.
To the line, you say? I'm
As
sorry.
far, yeah,
In the
from the line.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Can we get a copy of that?
it's on the website.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that. Forgot.
Yeah.
So that gets back to, as we were sort of dancing around, where exactly was the lime found? Can you throw up the first picture from the agronomist report? Actually, well, that's the one. If you go to the agronomist, that email from the agronomist, the first photograph, the first PDF is a photograph. Yeah, that one.
I will tell you that I can attest, sorry to interrupt, I can attest to you that it was in his yard.
I saw it in his
I
yard.
was there
Yeah, I
the
was
day
too.
when it was in his garden.
He says it's in his yard. It's not.
So he doesn't
Could you
own that
speak into the
shed.
microphone, please?
Yeah. What he says is, he says that it's in his yard. However, this is his strip of garden. And then if you can pull down the top here, pull this down. This is his barn. His burn pits are back along here. We got the historical survey, and then we sent Tracy and Mills out with the legal description to resurvey it. And if you bring up that second photograph, the property line runs, he put his barn on city property, and his garden is on city property, and his burn pits are on city property.
the garden that's right next to that shed, not the strip in the back, but the one that's right next to the shed.
There's a garden right there,
Yep.
right beside it.
Well, where we go?
You want to look at this again?
Back in here.
No, beside the shed.
There's this entire strip here
Is city.
back is city property.
Okay.
So why do we have we don't have a fence there, or do we have a fence?
Yeah, we do have a fence there.
So it's the fence is put in the wrong place.
Yes. I would have no idea why.
Now, do we know, did he put the shed there?
Yes.
He's been there 9 years, he said. He actually put the shed there?
We think it's been there since about 19 or 18 is our best guess.
Since 1918?
No, 2018 or 2019.
So he would have put it there.
That's what we were.
Now, is the larger barn on city property? He has a little shed, and that's where I saw the garden, but there's a larger barn.
This is not on city property.
Okay.
But the one up top, which is the newer one, that is, and that's the picture that we just showed. We now have, and we think that he put it right on top of one of the historic pins, because that was the one, we went out and located from the 70, there's a 1970 some survey, and Tracy and Mills found all the pins from that survey except one, which we believe is actually underneath this new barn.
Was it Tracy Mills or was it Vance Survey?
I forget.
So is it safe to say like a third of the barn is on city, I mean, it's
Yeah,
like the back
we'll
end?
throw up the picture there if you wouldn't mind it. Yeah, maybe a quarter.
Okay, yes, sir.
My question is, we didn't look into that until he showed up to a meeting. So now, the retaliation for those who are supposed to govern for him come against him because he's following a fence. Now, where I live, and I always use the place where I live and where I'm at, because I'm just a common citizen just like everybody else. City property went 4 foot into my front room. And we had to take care of that and clean that up. So Mr. Daniels, the safety service director, we caught it on the city map, and they cleaned it up. Now, they put the city line right at the front end of my house. My actual front steps are on city property. The reason I'm bringing this up is I know that now. Now I do. I thought property I own clear up to the street. Well, back 4 or 5 feet, whatever the city easement or utility easement might be, that's where I'm at. But I found out wrong. So now the city has the right to come in and park whatever they want in my front yard. The thing I'm asking is, wouldn't it behoove us to be good servants of the people, that if we was going to move that sludge and put it over there and we knew that was city property, to let them know, hey, we're putting this here, this is city property, so I just want to let you know. Because obviously we didn't know until it was brought up.
I believe that was when we said we would do a stormwater permit, which required the survey, which then we knew.
But wouldn't it be a sense of courtesy to the adjoining places that we're going to do this to? I mean, if I owned where I'm at and I own it, and the city says that's my property, I'm going to park, or I wake up in the morning and there's 3 backhoes in my front yard, and the city says, well, this is city property.
Well, the line is well away from here. There's been a runoff, which is what the issue is. That's what caused the issue here. It's not that we're putting lime on this part of our property or anything like that. There's some runoff, and that's what caused the issue.
So are we saying that when he had video of all that, when we had a 2-inch rain and the line was just flowing like a river, that none of that went onto his property? Because I think earlier, just a moment, please. I think earlier you said, we've talked to him and we're going to take out topsoil and grass seed and do what's right. So now are we saying none of this line went onto his property?
I'm not saying none of it did.
That's the first I heard this from here. So and I think anybody sitting here wouldn't want that in their backyard. Whether that's the city's obligation to put it there, or whatever the deal may be. I think all of us sitting here with the amount of dust that's come off of it, the amount of mud. I mean, I drove out there one day to see what was going on. I have a black pickup truck. I got back to work because of the amount of water they're spraying to try to keep the dust down. My truck was covered in white dirt. So the guy has a concern for health, for one. Did we, and I have 3 questions that I'd like to ask, that somebody asked me to ask. But number 1, did we tell him we were going to do this? Did anybody go talk to him?
I have not I have not, I don't know if...
So unless Tom did,
I have no idea.
so unless Tom did, the answer is probably not, which would upset any of us sitting here. To look out your window someday and you see this happy and this mess. All right, so I'll go to the 3 questions. One was there a written plan given from the city to the EPA when we started this?
Yeah.
There was?
Yeah, that's how.
So that's public information?
That's how we got the permit.
So there was a permit issued, and I think Ms. Woods has asked numerous times, can we see a copy of that permit, right? Did you ever get it, Tammy?
I have not seen the actual permit. I've been told that it exists.
So can we get a copy of that as well?
I mean,
I don't see any reason why.
no, but, I mean.
Just so,
it's a-
what it does, it stops some of the questioning from a lot of people. I have it where they send it to the EPA. I have where the EPA sent us a permit. So that clears up a few things.
And it's a conditional use permit, is my understanding.
Called transparency.
There you go. Sorry, yeah, beneficial.
And I guess you might not be able to answer this one, but I'd like to know somewhere along the line, because I think I was told our HR director was keeping track of it. Does anybody know how, to date, how many loads have been hauled off of there to somewhere else?
Well, that would not have been our HR
I
director.
thought I was told Maureen was in charge of that part.
It might be the Maureen.
For a period of time, it was my assistant was helping out. Then they have tasked a member of the utility department to.
So it's Maureen in your office who was
Yeah.
doing it. So do we have, how many loads have been hauled?
I'll find out.
Thank you.
You mean from not where it's currently stored, taken somewhere else?
Anywhere, because we're told the farmers are going to use all this, I'd just like to know how much they've used. I think we've got to find out a way to, rather than gloat that we found out he's on our property, that maybe he was,
Gloat.
grin,
It's a very strong word, Mr. Hilliard.
whatever you, okay,
I
call it
resent
grin.
that. I really resent that.
I'm talking about our city law director.
I'm talking about the city.
My point is, instead of pointing out all his wrongs, what can we do to work with him? Just like John just said. So we have admitted, yes, there is some line that came off of this onto his property. I think if anybody looks at any of the video or drives out there during the day, realizes there's a lot of dust that comes off of that. It's not a first time. I think I've seen it. Mel, have you seen it? So there's some concerns there. I think one of the things the city could do is show him what our plan is for the future, because it's going to be there a long time. I don't know how many farms we'd have to haul out to the farmers. So maybe share with him a plan that we're going to ask for, what the plan is to store this there,
So-
keep it stable.
If I may. This needs to consume 100% of our time to be able to keep you informed. Is that correct?
Matt, whatever you think, Mayor, whatever you think you need to do, I hate playing the I'm too busy game. That's not a good answer.
Okay, well, Mike, here's what happens. When you go stir up stuff like this,
Who stirred up what?
It pulls us off of other work that we're doing for the city. So that we've got to go do all of this. And you want information, and you want information, and you want information. And so
Well-
now I got to pull people off of engineering.
The
I've got to pull
EPA
people off of utilities. I've got to pull people off of street department.
take everything. Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor, please let everybody go to work tomorrow as normal.
Thank you.
But the EPA report we sent them should be pretty easily grabbed. And the copy of the EPA permit should be easily grabbed.
We do not have the report from the EPA yet
Not
because
the
all the
report.
departments are.
When I
working
asked,
on
was there a
different
written plan given from the city to the EPA, that's what I was asking
There's
for.
an application made.
There's an application.
I'm out of time. Any other questions? Thank you.